Hi guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. Man, with this Hurd case and the OJ case, I really miss Judge Fleischer. I miss him bringing us back to normal at the end of the stream. Oh, sugar, what is that? Hold on, I gotta get that out of the way. There we go. All right, enough. Let's get into crazy. Let's go to Crazy Town. Oh, we're in Crazy Town. I wasn't even starting, and it's already crazy. He can't even find his chair. Kelly, isn't that you?
Back on the record, Judge.
Okay, we're moving on from this family wizard jazz and all that. Okay. Ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay, we're moving on from the family wizard jazz. I don't know. Are we going back to potty training? Or are we moving on to some other craziness?
Okay. All right. The struggle period. Why do you feel I should not have joint custody of Aslan?
You mean joint physical custody?
Joint physical
Thank you.
custody of Aslan.
I'm just following the court orders.
Your opinion is that I should not have joint physical custody of our daughter because you're following the court orders?
Yes.
So, do you understand the question?
I was
She's
gonna
given you
propose
an
objection, but then
opportunity
it calls
to.
for a legal conclusion, Judge. And I
Well,
think
yeah,
that's-
but I think she means, I think he understands she means roughly 50-50 each. In fairness to you, I'm not, well, maybe it is clear. I don't think she was asking about current compliance with orders. I think she's talking about the future.
Yeah, okay.
Do you believe going forward that she should progress to joint physical custody? If not, what are your concerns? I think is
Possibly.
what do you feel? Okay, you can,
Okay, that's
she's
that
giving you an
question.
opportunity.
I like the way you phrase it.
Okay,
What are your possible concerns for me not having joint custody for, what are the concerns that you have?
Your history of drug use is one of them. And the ability to co-parent.
We just established that, just before all of this, that you were the one not sending messages to me via another alternative route.
Objection, move to strike.
Okay.
well,
So-
it's cross-examination. I
What's the
understand
question?
it's phrased in a way that he would, but he can correct the misapprehension if he doesn't agree with
So you're
the
saying
premise.
my history of drug use, you
Yes.
go into, there, on the record, there is a one-time positive lab report for methamphetamine. So what history with a one-time positive lab report would there be? And, stop it there.
The multiple times I found meth in our house,
Okay,
while
and
you were
what
going to
occasions
school,
did- Okay, what,
and
when
when
did
you were
that
addicted
happen?
to pills.
When did that happen?
The meth found in the house was roughly around 2015, right before we found out you were pregnant with Aslan. And it's also recorded through your doctor that there was meth in your system at your first doctor's visit?
Was CPS involved?
No.
So you're saying that, you're testifying that there's meth in my system while I'm pregnant, but yet CPS was not involved?
Correct.
Okay. I think
You better be. You better be ready.
all right, so, and then from there, when I did have our daughter, who primarily took care of her?
We both did.
Who took her to her appointments?
We both did. You did most of it, but I was there as much as I could be.
Okay, so you have a concern with my history of drug use, yet you let me primarily take Aslan to appointments.
I was primarily financially funding our house.
That wasn't my question. My question was, if you had this concern up until our breakup, why did you not find alternative means to care, for somebody to care for her?
Because I stuck by your side because I thought I could help you through it.
And is it established in the record that I was ever diagnosed with any such disorder that you're claiming I had?
Objection, the state's
Which
testimony.
disorder?
He's saying I would had a history of drug use.
Oh, so that's what you're,
Yeah,
not a psychological diagnosis,
yeah.
a disorder, a history of drug use.
so.
You know what might be help, I understand where you're both going on this, but let's be as clear, and you did allude to the meth in 2015, but if we're developing this, let's get as close as possible to the month and years or time period of whatever the drug of concern is at that point, or whatever. Okay,
Your
let's
Honor,
go.
I honestly don't know, because.
Then you can explore it.
I'm trying to establish that this is not in fact a real concern or a real issue, so I don't know what dates to point to.
Okay.
He's giving a generality of something, but yet he's saying
Would
that
they?
it's while I was pregnant.
doubt
Well,
it.
if while I was pregnant and I tested positive for meth, CPS would have been involved.
Well, ideally, he didn't call,
So-
no one else
And
called.
that's not where
I know, I
Okay,
know.
I just wanna know, moving forward, I'm trying to move forward. Anyways, why do you feel that Aslan should not have equal time with both of her parents?
I think what's in her best interest right now is to be with me most of the time.
Okay, but is she with you?
Yes.
So in those two binders, right there sitting to your right, who's taking her to all her appointments?
Objection, Dave.
In which period or which exhibit?
So it's the two binders that Mr. Friedman presented that are all her OT, her
Well,
PT?
you obviously you're referring to some past situation, not the current state of affairs. So let him know you're referring to 2, 3 years. What range are you referring to?
Okay, so
He may just concede during that period you primarily took her, and then we can move on. Or he may not. I don't know. I have to know what period you're referring to.
okay, and so I have, and I have those records, but they have not been admitted yet, so,
But
I-
if you're,
and he's.
well, but you know what period of time they
All right,
applied
let's
to,
just
so
go
you
a
can
different
ask
direction,
them.
let's just go a different direction.
Okay,
Cause until we get those records, it's kind of
okay.
admitted. What would be your reason for not allowing, Aslan to FaceTime or call her mother for these long periods of times that she has not been allowed to? Primarily specifically the 1 year that you were communicating during talking parents, you can't make phone calls during talking parents. And the 5 days I don't see her in between our current visitation schedule.
Well, I told you you could call, but I told you you weren't allowed to FaceTime anymore. Would you admittedly
So why did you
admittedly
not accept
agree
it, my
that you
phone
were
call?
video recording my conversations?
Can we have an admonishment? She asked a question, my client needs to be able to answer. She's been
Okay.
over talking me. but
Yeah,
my client
someone
should be
might,
able to answer.
Okay.
if there's someone types a transcript of this, they won't be able to if people are talking to
Okay,
each other.
alright, sorry.
Mari, can he restate, or do you want to?
Yeah, did you,
Go ahead.
if you, at any point you didn't complete your response to a question, let her know you're still
I told her in
responding
the-
if she moves on to the next
I
question.
said in the past she was allowed to call via phone, but she was not allowed to FaceTime because I caught her video recording a FaceTime with Aslan. And when I questioned her about that, she said, I record all conversations, all phone conversations.
When was that period of that?
Ever since these proceedings have pretty much been happening.
During these proceedings it occurred?
Yes.
When did I,
Maybe if she wasn't batshit crazy, Kelly, we would give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe. Probably not.
admit to recording?
CJ.
What was the date, the exact date?
I can show you, I have to go back through my text messages and
Okay, so
find it.
nothing recently? In the last 6 months?
Well, you haven't called,
You said FaceTime.
you haven't FaceTimed either.
Okay, but I've tried and you haven't answered. So why have you not answered my FaceTime calls?
Because I won't subject you to recording anything going on.
Okay, so why won't you answer my phone calls when I call for Aslan?
You haven't called.
I have. And in fact, which is not admitted into evidence, I've asked you and your attorney via letters, and I've asked you via text, what is a schedule that we could set up where I am allowed to call her so that make sure it complies with your schedule, and you have not answered me.
I comply to your schedule. You have her on Tuesday,
Phone calls, I'm
Wednesdays and
talking about
Thursdays.
phone calls. The 5 days I do not have her, I've asked if we could establish a schedule where I can at least talk to her twice or something during those times. I've also reached out to your attorney, asking him via a letter, can we establish a schedule that I can call her during the 5 days I don't get to see her? I have not gotten a response, and why is that?
following the court orders.
So you felt in Aslan's best interest to not reestablish any kind of relationship with her mother because you're following court orders,
She's establishing a relationship with you.
but you're not willing to look outside the court-specific orders and negotiate on our own to do what's best for Aslan.
No.
Okay, where this is going, what, in fairness, then just, to where this is going, do you believe from this date forward there should be video or FaceTime or something, and if so, what, how much, what restrictions, what? You did say no recording. What's your view on ongoing, which of course you'd be entitled to the same when she's in mom's care. What do you envision about that? Because I think it's a legitimate issue.
Well, because I don't trust her ever not recording, because she has, excuse me, proven that she will. She has proven the fact and admitted that she records everything that is our conversations on the phone with
This was a year
her
and a
being
half ago.
Aslan.
So he's asking moving forward,
Your Honor,
what do you suggest?
Let him finish, I asked him, so let him finish, please, and then you can follow up with it. Okay, go ahead.
And I don't bother her when she has Aslan on her time.
I get her for 8 hours
Thank you.
a week.
Who would she be recording the discussions between her and Aslan?
No, she would be recording to see if there was anything said in the background.
I see. So as far as the conversations between her and Aslan, if they were inappropriate, you would want them arguably recorded and submitted. So you're saying it picks up on, which can be legitimate. The court usually suggests on that if the two of you want to agree. Once mom or dad is set up for the video or the FaceTime, the other parent is to leave the room, and that time is sacrosanct. It's very private. There will be that level of communication by both parents when the child is in the other care, as long as you buy into that. If you don't buy into the court's mandates, no recording, if that's even a concern anymore, you're saying it isn't. And then we can probably move on, no recording, and you're to leave the, you're to afford the other parent complete privacy, close the door, walk away. Don't eavesdrop, don't do anything. Can we agree to that?
Yes.
Okay,
You can't really do that, Your Honor, with Aslan,
why?
because
Well,
of her age and her
She's sign, so she uses sign language, is that
No.
correct?
Your Honor.
yeah, let him finish.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Because what if it's just, these calls are sometimes just a few minutes, and with a child who has her challenges, maybe just 5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes, can she be
She
afforded?
speaks very clearly, Your
Okay.
Honor, and that's what we've been focusing on. That's what our speech therapists have been focused on, her speaking. For a child of 7 years old to learn 2 different languages is almost impossible. Yes, we use sign language when she was young, when she was delayed, but right now, I notice when she does come back from her mother's house, she starts messing up on her speech and her words, and because I believe she's constantly being taught sign language the incorrect way over at her mom's house, when we have fought so hard to get her to speak and speak in
And this
sentences.
goes, same ruling on that, that's on that other issue. You guys appear before the signing expert, and
We don't
you
have
follow, well, you're gonna get one and you're gonna follow it. If it's something we complain about, our method is better than the other side say, no, it isn't. Doesn't take much imagination to know where this is going. You both meet with the appropriate, occupational therapist, whoever's in charge of it. I understand what you're saying, but this could be just literally a few seconds at times. Hi, baby, how's it going? You know, it could just be a minute or two, could be a few seconds. I don't think we're talking about 20-minute verbal conversations or signing conversations necessarily, so they will have to respect, and if you guys need to put those
Fletcher,
limitations on
I
it,
just
it's a
ordered
good
coffee.
situation, but
You can come drink
I'm not
some.
gonna say the other side cannot
Thank
have
you.
her video chat with her. It could just be seen, maybe each of you just wanna see her before she goes to bed and smile, and have her smile back. It doesn't have to be a 20-minute discussion, so think about that, because the court is gonna order something along those lines in favor of both of you. And if you guys need to restrict it, then later on you tell me what restriction should be in place based on her special circumstances. So let's proceed.
So you say, you mentioned something about ASL.
I'm sorry about,
I'm sorry, American Sign Language,
oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
and that she's not capable of learning 2 languages. What age did Aslan actually start signing, using American Sign Language? What age was she? Do you remember?
She probably was around 3-ish that we incorporated it.
I'm signing. Do you remember what this was?
Yes,
What was that?
more.
She learned this at 9 months old because she couldn't speak. She's been signing, using sign language since she was 9 months old.
Does anyone have a specialist who is going to insist and put in writing she should only communicate the one method
No,
rather
they
than
don't.
They're
She
not,
can use
of course
both.
not.
She can
Of
use
course.
both, and that's what I'm saying.
Of
That's why I want
course.
FaceTime so I can sign with her as well.
At least 98% of the time, that's the way it is, of course.
And learning sign language, a second language, our daughter is more than capable of learning 2 languages. She's extremely smart. She's learning her questions. Who?
Okay, now maybe some specialist told Dad to be a little more circumspect and to
And I wouldn't
move a
be
little
privy
more
to that.
slowly with one as opposed to the other. So go ahead and fill us in on what your concerns are about this based on
Okay.
your intervention with the specialists.
When she has come back from Ms. Hurd's house, I notice that every now and then she tries to speak in sign language and she forgets to use her words.
Minnesota lost electricity 2 nights ago. We had a Viber that went all night with no electricity. They're okay now, but whoo.
She gets caught up because she's trying to figure out what to do with her hands and what to do with her mouth. At my house, we don't use sign language. We don't disagree with it, but we don't use it. But Aslan is now speaking in multiple sentences, asks questions, and uses the correct verbiage on how to do things. And when she does it, we correct it, and she corrects it. But she doesn't know how to ask a full 100% sentence in sign language.
Okay, who's the specialist you generally
She has
deal
speech
with?
therapy
Right.
every Monday, and she has a speech therapist at school.
Without, and I kind of hate questions that invite hearsay, that there must be another way to phrase this. If you brought to the attention of that speech therapist exactly what you just told me, let's put it this way, what direction do you think you'd be headed in? The same direction you are, or would there be something else that's
I think she's
observed?
gonna push to continue with her verbal skills,
Which I've never.
which is easier to communicate with people than sign language.
Well, of course, right. But Mom is saying both can simultaneously develop.
And from my experience, and I have spoke to her speech therapist before, I haven't been having access to her, that, I mean, neurologically, developing 2 pathways in your brain to do something just reinforces it. Her ability to sign, and I have never, ever witnessed her signing in lieu of speaking. She signs with her speak. And in fact, I have witnessed her signing helps encourage her speak and the ability for her to be able to communicate more, because she does have
That's
issues
crazy.
because of her tongue, and it's hard to understand. She has a hard time with F's. She has a hard time with S. So fruit, for example, fruit starts with an F. It's hard for her to say, it's hard to understand. She can do this, and this is what I got hung up on. She can do this is F for fruit. And so I can know that she wants fruit, because sometimes to understand that word is really hard. So she tries to say it, she can't say it, and she'll at least sign it, so she doesn't get frustrated, and I know what she wants. I'm not trying to have her never speak. I want her to speak. And she has been using sign language since she was 9 months old. She knows over 600 sign, this is not 3 words, this is over 600
You
words.
willing to go with what the speech therapist observed?
Absolutely, and it's always been incorporated before,
I
so that's
understand
why
what you're
I'm
saying,
a little
because
shocked.
not that it's exactly analogous, but I read a couple studies on bilingual education, and there was a concern, oh my God, if a kid is learning both English and Spanish simultaneously, they'll suffer and be held back on both, they won't develop. And the results of both studies were the opposite, in that the children were progressing and learning better if they,
Correct.
if with learning both simultaneously.
That's-
That doesn't necessarily mean that's true across the board, it's what some significant studies have found. Now, I understand that's 2 standard speech languages as opposed to a speech language and more of an expressive, demonstrative
But
situation.
That's been my understanding as well, and what I'm trying to, would you
Well,
agree that
he's agreed to meet with which is what should have been all along for
Okay.
these months and years. You guys should have been in the same room
And
with
have
the
a
same
conversation.
experts, with the same people.
You can't sit in the room, Your Honor.
Well, if you have to
You can
be
make an
in
appointment
by
outside of the
video,
room.
or if the specialist has to meet with you both separately, or one on video, both on video,
Okay.
and reinvent the wheel with one as opposed to the other. I get it, as long as you're both receiving the same information from the same specialist and you comply with it. Because this can't continue, this just, regardless of the rulings don't have much to do with the fact that regardless of how the court rules, you guys can't continue with this with one side on the outside looking in, getting frustrated. That doesn't mean everything she's suggesting is right or everything you're suggesting is right. It just means that we can't have continued disputes or conflict about, I'm not included in this, or you're wrong, no, you're wrong. There's gonna have to be some level of a team effort in this, as hard as it is. In other words, you don't have the luxury of conflict because you're raising a special needs child I don't have to tell you, is extremely difficult even when you guys are in the same home, pulling in the right direction on the same team. Think of how it's compounded 1,000 times worse in a situation like this. You guys can't afford the conflict. Daughter's far more important than your guys' residual resentment at each other. 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times more important, and that's that. All right, proceed, please.
Why do you feel it's in Aslan's best interest to not have a relationship with me equal to yours?
Ask and answer.
Did you have anything you wish to add to that, or? Okay.
How do you feel out?
I'm sorry?
How do you feel Aslan's relationship is with me?
I don't know, I don't
Lex
see it in your court.
Luthor.
Have you asked?
She doesn't comprehend that.
Have you asked me?
No.
Why?
Honestly, I wouldn't believe you.
Mm.
And what proof do you have that I wouldn't tell you the truth?
Now, you understand your earlier testimony said you do have an opinion, maybe more of a suspicion as to what's occurring because she exhibits certain behavioral regressions when she's in your care. So you did express a clear opinion on being somehow disenchanted with what's occurring at Mom's home. So if you can identify that and identify how you think it can be rectified, that might be helpful. So
I mean, it seems like when she comes back from your house, her demeanor and her attitude has changed. Sometimes it doesn't, but for the most part, her behavior, she gets more defiant. She doesn't want to listen as much. I personally believe that you're saying things to Aslan about me.
Based on what?
That's her emotional support animal.
Our history together,
We haven't spoken to each other in over 2 years.
but we were together for 11.
So based on our history prior to Aslan, you now are going to incorporate that into why you now feel I'm talking to our daughter negatively about you.
And everything that I've seen you put through the court system the last 2 years.
Have you tried to resolve this? Have you sent out one settlement offer to me?
First of all, I would object insofar
it's
as
more
it's
within the
in
realm
response-
of communications. You know what you received from his attorney, what you
Right,
haven't.
so have you tried to communicate with me outside of the litigation process?
We just went through all that. He's not supposed to, unless, except for that one method, which
I'm trying,
we should have changed a long time ago.
so it's your opinion that I'm
Are
solely
you saying it
responsible
bit you in the
for all of
ass?
this litigation?
Yes.
Yes,
And how would that be?
you withheld Aslan for me for 4 months back in 2021, before I even hired an attorney.
And define withhold?
You wouldn't let me see her.
And, okay, so we can go, let's go into the exhibit. Where was it, the talking parents? You wanna go back to your talking parents and the stuff that was already admitted? 46. 46. I'm sorry, Your Honor, I marked up the one that's not in front of him, so. So what dates are you saying that I supposedly withheld her?
From the time we split up,
Which was,
February 14th,
okay, of,
2021.
okay, two,
I don't know exact dates, but felt like 3 to 4 months. I didn't see Aslan until a Miracle League, and I think that was April or May.
okay. So let's look,
I could be wrong, and everybody will tell me if I am, but I think it's Henderson, but I don't know the first part.
I understand, she withheld her from start in April and you last saw her after she withheld her in April, or you mean August?
No, February 14th of 2021.
Oh, February 14th to,
And then it was either April or, I believe April or May when I
Got it.
went to Miracle League.
okay.
After numerous times that I went to Miracle
February
League and she
14th,
didn't
not
show up
April
with Aslan.
14th. Okay, I got it. Okay, good. Okay. All right. That's what he's saying.
okay, so if the court would bear with me 1 second, I'm sorry, I have it on the wrong, there's not. I have the talking parents noted in the one that's already admitted, and the numbers on the bottom are different, so I don't know if the court would want me to come back to this. Let me mark this, the correct one up. Is that acceptable to the court, so that I'm not wasting the time?
Was it,
trying to look-
was this to
This is a
discredit his
reference to-
testimony on this, or what was it intended? Just,
Um,
what's the offer of proof of why it's being shown?
Just to show that I did try to reach out to him to see Aslan and that.
He
before-
might concede that for all I know. Go ahead and ask him.
I'm trying to find it. Okay,
If
hold
you
on.
know,
I'll
if
ask
you
him.
remember
Okay,
the approximate period and you
During
remember
that
reaching.
time,
Okay.
did I not reach out to you, or, I don't know how to say this, did I not reach out to you to try to see Aslan?
Yeah, you said Carrie couldn't be there.
And why was my reasoning for Carrie not being there at that time?
I have no idea.
So your testimony is that you don't have any clue why I was asking for Carrie not to be around a month after we broke up?
Bren for the win.
Did
Yay.
she tell you?
I'm
Did
sorry.
you ask her why can Kara be around, or what's the problem?
She just said she didn't want Carrie around Aslan.
And did you say why?
Yes, I did, and, oh, sorry, me.
Okay, did you ask why? Or,
Yes.
okay, and she said,
I don't remember, Your Honor. That was 3 years ago.
And this is where, again, I'm asking for some grace. I have it noted in the talking parents, because we did use that app at that time and go back and forth, and please stop doing that.
so
Scratching my
you communicated to him, and I know you're not
Okay, so
testifying now,
page-
but
okay,
you're
I'm
saying,
sorry, I found
you
it.
communicated this to him that you don't want her around, and you told him the reason was,
Yes, yeah, my concern, I had some concerns and I addressed them. I'm
and
just
you
trying to show-
imparted those to him, okay?
How long is this doozy? Are we talking a day or two, 1 day, or weeks?
So if we go to page 2461. The very top. What's the date on that?
March 11th.
Okay, 2021, correct?
Yes.
And can you read what I say?
Neither of you can effectively communicate with Aslan as you do not know the levels of ASL sign language either. Also, if you both leave a typical 9-year-old boy alone for hours while you make out in the truck on the street, how can I trust you to keep an eye on Aslan and not do the same thing?
So would you say that was kind of a concern that I had?
It might be your concern.
But I did address it to you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you read the next one down, please?
I'm requesting you take a parenting class, a class specific to Down syndrome. If Carrie is interested in ever being allowed around Aslan, she will need to take a class or several as well.
So again, I did have a concern, I addressed it with you, and I offered an option of how we could incorporate Carrie, so that it would no longer be a concern. Is that correct?
But in fairness, the question presupposes that he was in some car making out with someone and neglecting a child.
Oh, well, okay, that's not
You have
what
to
I meant.
establish that that's the case or whatever it was.
Okay, so I'm just
If that's your
referring,
rationale for
No, no.
making these demands and you're saying they're reasonable,
My divorce decree is like 30 words, maybe. Maybe.
tell me what it is you accused him of doing and that it needed to be corrected. Maybe he'll concede that happened or not, I'm not sure what is it you said he did? Yes,
So, I said that when they,
he
but they-
ignores Aslan, he's in a car doing what?
he was making out
With
with his, we
girlfriend?
were still together, it was Carrie,
Carrie,
here's what our relationship
But
was.
not in the home, but in a car while
But in a
Aslan's
car, and
alone
when
in the
her
home?
son came out to, it's so complicated.
Okay.
It wasn't Aslan, Your Honor, it was
It
Carrie's
was,
son.
it was Jeremy,
No,
Carrie's
there's no
son.
question.
If it's that complicated, then I wouldn't be able to do anything with it.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
let's
not
move
the
on then.
focus,
Okay, all right.
sorry, I can,
All right.
that's not the focus, like,
Okay.
that's in the past, I don't care about that.
Okay.
That was, I was more concerned about the ASL and the communication, that's what I was trying to
Okay.
show right there. Not, and in fact, Down syndrome and take some classes, that, right now, that's not important.
Okay.
The boy thing. Okay, so on that same page, my response on March 12th, 2021. Can you read that first paragraph?
Can you direct,
Oh, I wanted the door to hit him.
So it says no longer a user on March, that page 2461.
There's multiple responses.
Okay, so okay, 1, 2, come on. So it's in the middle, after the little icon that shows that you looked at a message, Mario prepared viewed, the subject 312. Right below that is no longer a user on 3/12/2021 at 4:19:23 p.m. said. In the middle, do you see that?
You don't wanna hear what it says above that?
I'm
Yeah,
not-
read it.
the doctrine
whole
of
thing.
completeness, I think it's important. that the
Yeah,
entire
he can read it,
exchange be
go ahead.
No, go ahead and read all
So
of it.
above that, it says, I would like to pick up Aslan tonight at 5:30 so I can have her for the weekend. Carrie will not be around and I can drop her off Sunday at 6. We can meet at the PD on Green Valley. And then your response was, I'm not comfortable with that. You told me to shut the hell up on FaceTime while talking to Aslan. You still have yet to apologize. I am going to show Aslan how a man should treat a woman and what she should and should not tolerate. Be a better man and be a better dad first. You lie constantly. Even last night, you couldn't tell me the truth about hanging out at PTs with Carrie. I know for a fact that the second you tell Carrie to not come around while you have Aslan, she will dump you again. You are clearly choosing Carrie and your relationship with her over Aslan. You need to earn the trust back first. You couldn't even have a simple FaceTime call without abusing me. I do not trust Aslan by herself with you.
Okay, and now go ahead and read the one I asked you to read, the first paragraph of the next one, please.
I am willing to compromise that is what is best for Aslan. She does need her dad in her life. I am not comfortable with Aslan staying the night with you, as last time you allowed Carrie to sleep in the same bed with you and Aslan only 1 week after my departure.
So again, I'm willing to compromise with you, I'm not withholding her from you. I did say that right there, is that correct? And I addressed my concerns about you having her sleep in the same bed,
If you weren't
is
in my
that
house,
correct?
Well, you didn't establish through his testimony that they were all sleeping in the same bed a week after you left. Maybe he was, I don't know, but he hasn't said that.
we don't sleep in the same bed.
Okay, so if you want to establish that, you have to ask him further questions. He said they weren't sleeping.
The point, and again, a lot of this, Your Honor, I have to kind of go back to show I was trying to compromise, I wasn't withholding. There is a lot of hurt, and there's a lot of animosity,
It's very
there's a lot of,
palatable,
there's a lot of
and
things here that I
I'm
don't
glad
find
you
relevant
I'm glad you
anymore.
identified that, because
Yeah,
there's a lot going on in here, in
And
these
I'm
old
over that,
communications that purport to be about the daughter, where
Right.
people climb up on soapboxes and act all
Right.
noble, like it's about protecting the daughter. Maybe some of it is, but a lot of it is just everyone's feelings are really
right,
badly
and,
hurt.
and I would concede to
And
that.
I get it,
that
I
we-
get it, you know.
We had hurt feelings, and so, some of this is going to be childish, it really is, it's gonna be us having hurt feelings.
I'm
It's
really
gonna be
glad
us
you
not
acknowledge that.
adapting, well, I am way past this, I do not feel this way. I'm only trying to establish that I did at least try to reach out to him to have him see Aslan, I was willing to compromise. As far as the rest of it, I'll concede that, that was acting in hurt feelings, which was not necessarily, not good, I mean, it's not, and I have moved on from that, a lot of these other little things, like, sleeping in bed, this, that, and the other, are not important right now. I just
Particularly
wanted
not
to show.
anymore, yeah.
No, they're not. And I just wanted to show that during this time, I did have concerns. I did address them. I was willing to compromise and work with him. I just didn't silence him. Right or wrong, I don't know if
Hey,
I was
Nan.
wrong. I'm thinking I'm protecting Aslan. Maybe
Hey,
it
Nan.
was the wrong way. I'm
Nan.
not saying what I did was
Look.
right. I'm not saying I did it the right way.
Look,
I'm
Nan.
just saying I at least have that communication open with him to try. That's all I'm saying. And that's all I want to say. I didn't just cut him out and leave town and have nothing to do with him. In fact, I say right here, as he says, she does need her dad in her life. I say that over and over again. I have never denied that she doesn't need her father. I've never said that, and yes, well, I say some other hurtful things right there, and I did have you read that. She needs her dad in her life. Like, I've never said that she didn't need her dad. So that's what I'm trying to establish. Like, even through the hurt feelings, I'm trying to, I know she needs her dad. I don't want to take him away, so if that makes sense. So, I don't know if the court, does the court need me to keep going? I just want, or is that
Well, at
just
this
good
point,
enough
we
at this
probably, I
point?
mean, if you wanna finish a certain theme of questions, it's only gonna take a few more minutes, that's fine, but first get a new date, we
Okay.
want these, I have a couple selections in the next couple weeks, and I sure hope the parties can accept it, cause I don't wanna be in a situation where there's a lot of water under the bridge, and many cases occur
Alright.
in the interim, and then it's hard to remember what occurred. This coming Tuesday, the 16th, can you guys come in the afternoon at 1:30 with a cancellation?
January 16th?
The Tuesday, Mr. Friedman, it's right after the MLK, so Mr. Friedman, please check your,
Your Honor, I would
Good.
love to accommodate you. I have 2 hearings, and I have a mediation at my office that afternoon.
In the
I
afternoon.
need the mediation, but I just, it's a Saturday for me. I'm sorry.
we could potentially open up, not supposed to, but this Friday. I think there's a reason it's kept open.
I'm in a full-day TPR trial as a cat judge, otherwise nobody's gonna continue.
I'm trying to be sorry, Nan. I'm trying. I can't get that far though.
Can you continue it on cat? Well, maybe, but I don't think the DA is gonna be pleased.
Wednesday, the 24th. I won't go out much further than that, that's 2 weeks from now.
Wednesday, the 24th, I'm good.
1:30,
I mean, Mario,
It's his birthday.
what's his birthday?
My boss will comply.
okay, then, yeah, Wednesday, the 24th is fine for me.
It's his
Joe.
birthday?
Yes, sir.
I wasn't aware of that, but
Ew, did you hear he said? My boss will comply. I don't like that. That was not okay.
but it is, that's fine. That's fine.
It's up to him, I'm not
No,
gonna.
he said his boss will give it off, he just,
I'm not requiring someone to ruin their birthday with it.
well, I think he would very much like to see this matter drawn to its conclusion as well, Judge, that might be a nice birthday gift for him as well, so I think he's amenable to that. Are
Do
you
we have-
okay?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
that's
Can
fine.
I, can
They're
I,
fine, I'm fine.
I'm fine with that. Can I ask a question though?
Well,
Yeah.
Or I'll ask you.
yeah,
I'll ask you.
It would
I'm
be
sure
at
it's fine
1:30,
question.
you guys could have it with a cancellation,
Oh,
could have the
wait.
whole day if you want, but
love
Don't know if
the
you'll
whole day.
need it.
The
You'll
whole
need
day
the
would
whole-
be great. If we, well, based on the pacing so far, Judge,
Right.
obviously we did burn the first day, without getting
I
much
know what the
conversation.
question's gonna be. I get my daughter on Wednesdays from 4 to 8, and I'm sure that's gonna overlap a little bit to this. Could I at least get makeup time if we do that? I would,
I don't have a problem with that, we may not be able to agree on that exact schedule now, but you understand it.
If that would be
and-
okay.
yeah.
If she, I'm sure my client would more than agree, and he's shaking
Okay.
his head, yes, Judge, that if she's forced to miss a bit of her custodial time, we would certainly
or if
make
we
sure.
could just switch a
Or we
day,
could
and because it's your
accommodate-
birthday as well,
or
so
we
you
could-
No.
can have it for your birthday.
Well,
Let's just, yes, I'm willing to work, and because of the situation at hand, it's nobody's,
nobody's
Okay,
fault.
we're gonna
Nobody's
have,
fault.
this was day setting 2, so 124 at 9 will be
So
day 3 or setting 3, and we're not just gonna
at-
run it, and then it'll be a separate 4th setting for the afternoon at 1:30. It will be, however you wanna designate it, day 3 and 4, or setting 3 and 4.
So it's 9 AM and 1:30?
Yep.
Connor?
So we have to have them both entered separately, otherwise I'll look at it and assume the afternoon's still open, because when can we enter both? I can enter them as days or settings, separate.
Just realizing now, I was supposed to attend Judge Kadish's Clark County Bar lunch, but I'm gonna go ahead and have to
You
cancel
sure?
that. but that's
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, it's good if you guys
We
do
need to get this.
compromise, cause,
We need to get it.
not a lot of availability, these only exist due
I'm
to
surprised you even
cancellation.
have these days, Judge, to be quite frank, I'm pleased that we're this close. And I apologize, I wish I could have taken either of the two earlier ones, I just.
Sure, so 124 at 9, this is setting 2, session 2, session 3, 124 at 9, session 4, 124 at 1:30, okay? Perfect.
So we're all day, we're just breaking it.
Pretty
Break
much,
for lunch.
we'll break from noon to 1:30 unless people wanna work through it and just do a half an hour for lunch or something.
Session.
Now, that said, if you wanted to complete a certain
I-
thread of discussion with him, if you wanna just save it all for next time. It's up to you.
I think we kind of are done with this
Okay,
So can we,
particular.
can we just
so do
clarify-
you have an agreement as to this compensatory time? Or are you gonna work on it?
Well, like I said, on the 24th, my client said himself that,
Okay,
given that it's nobody's fault, we're just looking for a day, absolutely,
Right.
we'll work out either changing the days or doing some compensatory time, whatever makes the most sense, but yes, we'll make sure you get the time
okay.
that you would otherwise miss because you're in traffic.
Anything else for
Do you mind if we
today's
switch that
purpose?
whole evening?
I'm sorry.
Do you mind if we just switch up that whole blocky evening?
I-
Like do 4 hours, I can complete another day that way, because it's gonna be stressful days, so maybe just.
And that's why I usually don't have all-day trials, I usually break them either in the morning or the afternoon, but if you guys wanna work all the way through it, we
Try to get 4
will.
hours, like a block on another day, maybe.
I will-
Like, so I have
I
that Thursday, so maybe Thursday, Friday, or Thursday.
You can do Tuesday, the
How about
23rd.
Tuesday instead? We'll do Tuesday.
Tuesday the
Tuesday,
23rd.
23rd, 4 to 8.
Stipulated.
Alright, see you guys on the 24th.
From same
You
time,
guys,
4 to 8.
they can just
4 to 8.
leave all their books here if they want, we can
Absolutely.
put them all there, unless they wanna take them with them.
Well, however they wanna do it,
Guys,
I'll.
I'm
take-
gonna take mine, cause I just need to organize a little
Okay,
better for your own.
okay. Let's go
Oh,
back on.
sorry, back on the
Okay.
record.
Okay,
Miss-
can I just
get
make the
your
statement
book
and then absolutely?
better ready for you? Can I get your book better ready for you?
Wait. Something's wrong, guys. Hold on.
I can take your question up, I'm sorry.
Oh, this is only a minute long.
What I just wanted to make sure for the record, so it would be easier for everybody, is that it is clear that exhibits 1 through 30 in our exhibit book are, it's already admitted into evidence.
last
So as
time.
we go, if you're keeping track of our market, so as we go forward, just so we're not having to have, is it admitted or is it not, Judge Devil, you guys, you know what's in and what isn't in. I meant to address that at the start of day 1, but we did so much settlement stuff, I just neglected to, so I apologize. Thanks for what were you saying?
1 through 30. So do you mind if I take your book that I have ready for you and actually prepare it better, cause it's your book for the exhibits that I produced for you?
Prepare it better.
But yeah,
Well, so here, I'm not accusing you of anything untoward, but just stereotypically what happens is I'm presented with a comprehensive list of trial exhibits before the start of trial, and that's what I have. So the notion that I never got the book and then it would appear different.
She can't afford the Talking Parents app because forklifts are freaking expensive. I know this.
And I'm not saying you
I'll
would, but
consult, I was just trying to finish a job I didn't really get to finish very well, and I was asking for permission if you were okay with that.
That's
Okay.
for
So I'll just,
trial exhibits. Our
I'll,
Alright, see everyone on the 24th, thanks guys.
thank you, Your Honor.
Starting
it's
now.
my fault. It's running late.
Okay, let's go on the record. Kind of reverse Hurd matter D 622669, appearances starting with Mr. Friedman, please.
Matthew Friedman, Your Honor, 11571, on behalf of plaintiff Mario Party, present in the courtroom and one person removed to my right. With me today is also my paralegal, Tracy McCall.
We good, and of course.
Kimberly Hurd, defendant pro per, and then my assistant Melissa Sutton.
Okay, very good. Now, where we left off last time was, who was on, where did we leave off? Check the record.
My client was on the stand.
That's right.
Under direct examination.
That's right.
From the defendant. I just had a housekeeping issue, however Your Honor wants to handle it, I'm completely fine with it. I do know that the defendant served a trial subpoena upon my client's mother, Ellen Bakari. She's present in the hallway.
Sure.
The only condition is Ellen does have to leave by 2 p.m. today to collect Aslan from school. And so I'm not sure what Ms. Hurd's plan is relative to, the case
I
she's
think
putting
we
on.
should
But if
call
she
her
wants
now
to take
and-
Ellen and then go back to Mario,
Could
that
we?
would be.
Could we
whatever.
do, that would make sense.
We would appreciate that, Judge. That way we can be certain we're not bifurcating and that she can make sure she gets out of here on time.
That'd be okay?
but
Oh,
that's okay.
perfect, okay, let's
And her
bring
name's
that.
Ellen? Ellen. Oh,
Let's just move this back here so no one trips on it. I'll put it right behind you, if it's all right.
absolutely.
So today's his birthday, right? Happy birthday! Whatever your name is. Dad.
Please.
So Alan, you'll be right up here. Watch your step, it's a little.
And the non-potty trained.
And just remain standing.
We don't
and raise
judge.
your right
We
hand
judge.
to the purpose hand.
So judge.
You do solemnly affirm the testimony you're about to give in this act shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
In case anything else is perjured.
We don't put the pains, but it's under, written under penalty of perjury. We don't use that 1700s language. Okay, go ahead. Okay, let me press that out and correct it out.
She's.
Donald. Donald. Aren't you not supposed to drive till February? Hold on, let me look at my calendar. It's January. What are you doing? Donald.
We're just under penalty. Okay.
It's kind of like part of the first part and a part
Yeah,
of the
really.
second part, Judge. How we used to draft contracts.
Just I think we're moving away from these oaths that
I
are
think
based
so.
on religion. We don't know what people's religions are, and we say so have we done so. It's important that the oath informs people that the legal consequences of false testimony, not religious consequences that we know nothing about their religious faith or their
They may not
connection
care,
to it.
right?
They may not care. Okay, very good. Very good. And your grandma?
Yes,
Okay. And you're Alan?
yes.
I'm sorry, last name again, please?
Opa Perry.
Oh, just like, okay, very good. Okay, you're here under subpoena
That's father's mother. I figured that out all by myself.
that you received, when?
Saturday.
Okay, has either party spoken to you subsequent to your receipt of the subpoena?
Other than I live with my son, I talk to him.
Did you speak to Kimberly about it?
No.
No? Did your son discuss the proceedings, testimony, or in any way suggest preparation for this?
No.
Did he profess to be unaware of it beforehand, or
No.
he was aware of it beforehand?
I'm not sure if he was aware of it.
Okay, so you're saying no one spoke to you though?
No.
Even though you live with him, he didn't speak to you about?
I didn't know I was gonna be subpoenaed.
And when you told him I received a subpoena, he said,
Oh, yeah, I told him I received it.
okay, and he said,
That, okay,
okay, that was the extent?
yeah.
All right. Very good, let's proceed, please. To your knowledge, is that accurate? Because I'm concerned about, I want, family
Sure.
witnesses, I want to know who they spoke to on either side.
So we were, well, she, I believe, was one of about 40 or so witnesses that Ms. Hurd had. We
Oh,
had
okay.
no real notice of who she intended to call,
Okay.
Judge. We were notified on Monday that the subpoena had been served over the weekend. What we confirmed with our firm was that it was served, that the check was done. We confirmed with
Okay.
Ms. Opapari that she did get a process server, just to confirm that the formalities of the subpoena were adhered to.
Sure.
Fruit
I
salad.
would think without a doubt, Ms.
Yummy,
Opapari
yummy.
thought she was gonna have to take the stand and testify.
For sure.
But, but I've had no conversation with her other than I met her just now in the hallway.
Okay, now did,
I don't think you really have to rewind. It's the same. It's the same thing.
are you aware of anyone else who was received subpoena over the weekend?
The only notification we received was that, my client's mother had.
Okay,
received-
do you know if anyone else was subpoenaed over? Okay,
And I no, because it was last minute, I did place him on notice via letter on actually on Thursday. I said, are you gonna have, is Mario gonna have his mom testify? If not, then I'll issue a subpoena, putting you on notice right now. and I never heard back anything, so.
She wasn't on your
But-
witness list originally?
was.
I thought she
Like I
was.
said, one of about 40 some odd witnesses
Oh,
that was on
okay.
the list. My paralegal advised, so I was in Snowbird with my family Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday through Monday. I am advised that a letter came in on Thursday asking us if we intended to have her available or she'd be subpoenaed. Obviously, I wasn't available to respond within one day, and so she subpoenaed her on
Okay,
Saturday.
very good.
We don't object to the subpoena.
Okay, let's proceed, please.
Right. So, sir, you know me, correct?
Pardon?
You know me.
Yes,
Okay, how long have you known me?
about 10 years.
All right, how did we meet?
Pardon?
How did we meet?
Through my son.
And how was that?
You were dating him.
Okay. At the time, was he with anyone else?
I don't recall.
All right. At the time, did he have other kids?
Yes,
And what other kids did he have? And how old were they?
Dominic and Cody.
And how old were they? Were they at
At
point?
that time,
So does that mean Jeremy is her kid? So he has Dominic and Cody and Aslan, and she has Jeremy, right?
8 and 14,
Okay.
How old are they now?
18 and 24.
Who's the elder?
Dominic.
Thank you.
And at that point, did Mario have custody of either one of his children?
It was joint.
Okay. And at that point, how often did he have them?
I don't know. a few
What period
days a
of
week.
time, I'm
We're
sorry, how
talking-
long
when we
ago?
first, so we're gonna go,
How long ago
maybe,
was that?
okay, about
11 years?
13 years ago now.
13.
Judge, I know you want latitude. I would just say, just objection, just relevance, maybe.
But I don't know until we have a
I understand.
chronology.
We're talking 10 years ago,
So,
that's all.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay.
Okay. So how often would you say that he was with the children or with him?
I don't know. I didn't live with them.
At his residence? How often were they with you?
Once a week, maybe. I got to see him.
Did you watch them quite a bit?
Not really. I had him on Friday nights. That was our thing.
Okay, so you were never upset with Mario about not watching his kids,
No,
and that you had to watch them all the time?
no.
Alright, let's see what's gonna go. Alright, let's try this. How often do you watch Aslan now?
After school,
How long would that be?
till Mario gets home from work.
Okay, and how often, as soon as he gets home from work, what happens?
We
What's
have,
the routine? What's your routine?
we have dinner.
I'm sorry, he gets home from work 6, 7, or when?
Oh, yeah, thank you.
It
Oh.
depends. He works as an auto mechanic. And sometimes the jobs he has to work over.
And she's out of school before 3 or when?
She gets out at 3:10.
Oh, 3:10, okay.
Okay, so you pick her up every day?
Yes,
So Monday through Friday, you're the one responsible for picking her up
yes.
from school? Okay, do you take her to school?
Only on Tuesday.
Okay, so you take her to school on Tuesday, and you pick her up the other 5 days.
Mhm.
During the week, do you do, anything else at her school?
No,
So you don't volunteer in the school or in the classroom, or,
no.
so you have no contact with her at the school outside of just picking her up?
Just taking her and picking her up.
Okay, when you pick her up, what do you do? What is your weekly routine, if you don't mind me asking?
Depends on the day.
Okay, Monday,
Sometimes,
what's your routine? When you pick her up at 3 o'clock, what's your routine?
sometimes her and I'll go to the grocery store. Sometimes we'll go to the park. Sometimes we just go home and we're there. And,
So there's not a routine?
pardon?
There's not a routine?
Not, most of it's just continuous.
Okay, so what about her extracurricular activities? Does she have any activities after school that you take her to?
Not at this time. Most of her activities are on the weekend.
What activities are those?
Miracle League Baseball, soccer, ballet,
Only on the weekend?
yes.
Okay, so when would those classes be?
That I don't know. I get my information from Mario.
Okay, so you pick her up during the week, you have. kind of
I
a
never
routine,
did.
not
I didn't
really.
volunteer for
Extracurricular
anything.
activities during the week. She has activities on the weekend, but you don't how often, or when, or what time?
Objection compound, Judge.
Do you understand
Okay.
that question, or you want it broken down?
It depends on the time of the year and what she's doing.
Okay, we'll break it down. Let's start with, the summer. During the summer when she has ESY, she goes to school. What would be her routine during the summer? When you pick her up?
Objection, it seems facts not in evidence. Pick her up from where?
School, I just said
In the
ESY.
summer?
She has ESY.
Can you
Do
provide
you,
some?
do you know what's being referred to here?
Her,
I'm saying I'm
Do you know what ESY is?
that's when she goes for 4 weeks after for extra school.
Yeah, it's extended school year. It's in our IEP. Okay, so during the summer, should we we can work our way back. How about that? Let's do that. Okay, so we're in January. So December, she's off, so, you know, it's Christmas, holidays, whatever. Let's do November. What would be her
Let's be
routine?
linear, let's move, let's not work back, unless you prefer it that way, unless you follow it better that way.
Yeah, which way? Okay, yeah.
Let's just establish she's sure of what you can go any direction you want, just make sure she understands the chronology or facts that you're laying out.
Okay, I'm just trying to establish what is her routine. You can pick the time of year.
In the
Because
summer?
That's easier for you. But it sounds like it's kind of vague enough in the air. There's like no schedule, there's no routine, no, and you don't. So what would be easier for you to start with?
Objection, Your
Yeah,
Honor.
those are,
I don't
like,
even
those
know
are
what-
statements and conclusions, but the witness didn't say that. If you get the witness to say there's no structure and routine, I guess that's fine, but, let's find out what it is you're trying to gain from her, so let's make
We
sure she
know.
understands where you're going.
I'm trying, so you pick her up from school. You have her from 3 to approximately 6 to 7-ish.
She's the mother of the father.
Is that the time frame?
Your Honor, this compound, it assumes facts not in evidence. and
It's
she's
sustained,
leaving.
break it down, don't state conclusions for her. I understand I'm treating it as cross-examination, even though in a technical
So
sense
she's-
you're calling her and you're direct, it's an adverse witness, so, you are allowed to lead to a large extent, but please don't state conclusions for her like there's no structure, you don't know what's going on, unless you can, she says that. Let's zero in on what you're trying to establish, maybe you'll establish it, but. Well, what do you wanna get at? Let's not just pick a random time, focus first on what you wanna know about, you wanna know
Well,
about the
but-
summers or some other time?
I wanna know about her whole life, like,
Okay,
so, and if it's, you know, and I understand it changes in from spring to summer to
Right.
fall. So, what is her schedule? So, you know, she has school most of the year, and then during the summer, she does have 4 weeks of ESY.
okay.
So,
Do
she
you
does
wanna
have.
focus first on 9 months of school or the ESY or,
Okay, let's, yeah, then
Either way,
that's
okay.
9 months is fine.
okay,
So
let's
that's
focus
the
on the
larger
school
part.
year, okay.
Okay, so while she's in school, you pick her up at 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. On Mondays, what's her routine when you pick her up?
Sometimes I pick her up on Monday, sometimes, Carrie picks her up.
Okay.
So it's your
and
fault.
At that point from school, what would she do after school
She goes to therapy,
on Monday?
yes,
Okay, so she goes to therapy, and how long does she have therapy?
from 3:40 till 5:40.
Okay, so that's what she does on Mondays,
Mm-hmm.
correct? And who takes her on Mondays? You said sometimes you take her, and sometimes Carrie takes her.
Carrie usually takes her,
Okay, but it alternates.
but if she needs me to, I do.
Okay, primarily it would be that person that takes her to her therapies on Monday.
No, Rebecca, he had one last year. He's not Grady.
Is there a primary person?
Carrie,
Okay.
because Mario works.
So Carrie's the primary person, but you pick her up on Mondays, and then you bring her home, and Carrie takes her.
No, if Carrie's taking her, Carrie picks her up from school and takes her directly to,
Okay, so on Mondays sometime, then Carrie picks her up, because you'd said that you picked her up Monday through Friday.
I pick her up on Monday when need be. Monday, she goes to therapy and Carrie picks her up. If there's something happening that Carrie cannot take her, I take her.
Okay. Tuesdays,
I take her to school and I pick her up. Because Carrie works day shift
okay.
and Mario's working.
So in the morning, on Tuesday morning, what time, look, Monday night, sorry, look, okay. she's done with therapy. What does she do when she comes home after therapy on Monday?
We have dinner.
Okay, and then after that?
She plays, she watches TV, we just associate as a family.
Okay, what time, what's her bedtime?
9 o'clock,
9. And what time does she start getting ready for bed?
about 8:45.
Okay. So, Tuesday morning, about what time does she wake up?
7,
Okay. And what's her routine then?
she has her medicine. Then she watches TV for her cartoons for a little bit in my room. And then I get her ready for school and I take her to school.
Your routine to get her ready for school, what is that?
Pardon?
What's your routine to get her ready for school?
She gets up, she goes to the bathroom, she brushes her teeth. First she has her milk with medicine. Then she brushes her teeth. Then I get her dressed and she combs her hair. Actually, she gets herself dressed. She gets herself dressed and I comb her hair and we go to school.
All right. Okay, trying to think of. I keep saying things wrong. Bear with me, I'm not an attorney, and this is literally my first trial, so. All right, so on Tuesdays after you drop her off, she's at school. Nothing happens during that day. Do you pick her up on Tuesdays?
Yes.
And what's your routine when you pick her up from school on Tuesdays?
Sometimes we go to the store afterwards, sometimes we go to the park, sometimes we just go home and she comes home, she goes to the bathroom, and we watch TV, we play a game, whatever.
Okay, so how does she go to the bathroom? Does
She
do you
knows
have-
that when she comes home from school, the first thing she does is go to the bathroom and go to the toilet.
And is she in a pull-up at that point?
Yes,
And then do you keep her in a pull-up?
if she's, as of now, yeah, because she doesn't she's not to the point where she can wear panties continuously without having accidents.
Okay. So when does she wear panties?
Pardon?
When does she wear panties?
On occasion, we've tried it, but she's gone as far as 4 or 5 hours wearing panties, and then sometimes she'll only go an hour and not.
And so during those times, is there a structure with how you are training her? Like, you let her decide what she wants to do?
No, we pretty much let her know that it's time for her to go to the bathroom.
And what incentives do you guys do?
Pardon?
What incentives do you guys do to help her go to the bathroom?
Let her know she did a good job.
And is there any rewards, or is there any?
Sometimes she gets a reward.
Okay. And is there a schedule with that?
No. You
So-
can't schedule a child's time to go to the bathroom.
I would beg to differ, especially with.
Okay, counsel's arguing, or, excuse me, Ms. Hurd's arguing.
Probably gonna happen a lot.
Well, Your Honor, the job of like.
I mean, if you
using attorney
have
of course
some
to-
information,
Did you hear what he said? Counsel's arguing. Miss Hurd is arguing. He called her counsel.
received from the specialist or the therapist that indicate the party should calibrate and schedule that in Down syndrome situations. You can ask her if she's aware of
Okay.
that. It doesn't do any good to disagree with her unless you're gonna tell her what it is that you know that she doesn't, and see if
So
she and him know about it.
obviously, Aslan has Down syndrome. What have you done, or who have you talked to regarding her toileting and potty training, or have you?
I haven't,
You haven't talked to anybody?
no, other than her therapist at Summerlin Hospital.
So you have talked. Okay, so who do you talk to there? What therapist?
his name's Richard. He
Is that
is, he,
her OT, ST, or PT?
OT.
And
I
what-
think that's what he is.
And what is discussed with him?
Just how she's doing, and that when I take her, I don't know what happens when anybody else, when Carrie takes her, but he lets me know that she's doing this or that better, and she's doing a good job.
So do you ask him?
I've asked him about potty training. He says sometimes it can take longer for some children.
Okay. Has he offered you any literature on it?
No.
Okay, so he hasn't given you any literature. Did he give you any guidelines, or maybe like any more details, or at least resources or something?
No.
Okay. So I'm trying to understand what is actually discussed then. What,
Just how she does in her session, what she's learned.
so toileting isn't discussed then?
No.
But I thought you just said that that's who you talked to about going potty.
I've asked him about it, and I mean, it's not a every day discussion of her potty training.
Shouldn't it be?
I'm not the parent.
Probably the only time we're really gonna get to the brass tacks on this, if we do, if he's on the stand, because you have a difference of viewpoint as to how accelerated this should be, and you feel that he's delaying it, and so we have to juxtapose what you two parents think. I'm not
And
sure,
I'm just-
I'm not sure
that's
this witness has any more on this than what she
Well,
told us, so
honestly,
I potty trained a bunch of kids with no literature. Literature is gone.
I can kind of,
Okay, go ahead, you can pursue it if you think she knows more than it sounds like.
well, this is kind of my point.
Right, I know.
So we have Carrie, we have Ellen, we have Mario, and we have me. 4 people, we're all saying something different, there's no structure, and that's absolutely what the literature says, like, so I'm just trying to show that, I mean, if,
I would agree with the point that if we had more, I don't wanna get far afield here when we're in the middle of testimony, but that's sort of the point in these type of custodial conflicts. They're usually against a backdrop of people who can't effectively communicate and get on the same page. And it's critical when there's a special needs child, candidly, you guys don't have the luxury of not being on the same page and being in conflict. So, yeah, you're correct that there's gonna be some really, and I think I've already made it clear how I expect parties to communicate about this. We shouldn't be guessing at the approach taken by another party. We should know those approaches, and I've already.
No, we need more. Thank you, Monica. We need about 3 more days, I'm guessing.
Communicated our concerns about that. So there's
And I
gonna
have-
be, we're gonna put some, however this turns out, we're gonna put some real ground rules in place of how you guys communicate on these issues, starting with, again, because rather than 2 people, parents who have every motivation in the world to tell me their conclusion on the potty training situation, asking the court to accept what they're saying, carte blanche, is not the way it's gonna be. You two are gonna be sitting in chairs in front of the same specialists who are gonna lay out the ground rules, and that's how we're gonna handle it from now on. And you two are gonna have to buy into that concept, because, this just, if you don't solve this problem about, however this comes out, about how you guys cooperate and communicate, the case may end for now, but this problem isn't gonna end, it's just gonna get worse.
I agree, and it's
So,
been going on
yeah,
for
so,
3 years,
yeah.
and who's suffering is her, and now she's at a critical point that if
Okay,
this
well,
thing's gonna get resolved.
fair
she's
enough,
the
but
one that
if you
suffers.
think this witness knows anything more about it, you can pursue it. She just has a 1-day-a-week situation, so.
No, she said she fixed it
Okay,
5 days a week.
go ahead, if you think she knows more, that, or should know more, go ahead.
Okay, so Tuesday, okay, you pick her up, and you see you come home, and that changes. You go to the grocery store, go to the library, or, not the library, park, and then come home and play.
Mhm.
That's kind of it. She goes potty when she comes home. How often would you say on Tuesday does she work with panties? You said sometimes, once in a while.
Most of the time she does, during the week, she does not wear panties.
Okay. So, to see about what, roughly around the same time, 6, 7-ish, right? You guys have dinner? That'd be after what you just said?
About 6.
Alright. So, how often would you go to the restroom? Between
One
that
of us
time?
makes sure she goes about every hour.
Okay, so she goes every hour. Or at least try. Right, and what time does she go to bed on Tuesday? Same time?
She goes to bed at 9 o'clock.
Okay. And her routine to go to bed?
Pardon?
What is her routine to go to bed? Is it the same every night?
Yes.
So Wednesday morning?
I don't take her to school on Wednesdays.
Okay, so you don't know what goes on Wednesday mornings?
Well, same thing, normal routine. I mean, she has her medicine, brushes her teeth, she gets dressed, she goes to school.
Okay. And who takes her to school on Wednesday mornings?
Carrie?
And then during school, no association or nothing was done at school, right?
Arrest her. Arrest her. Drag her
You
out.
work on Wednesdays, right?
Yes? Because Carrie goes to work.
And what's your routine on Wednesdays?
Pardon?
What's your routine on Wednesdays when you pick her up on Wednesday?
Same as it is any other day.
But
We
Monday she has
come
therapy.
home, she goes
Is
to
that
the
another
bathroom.
witness, or-
If it's nice, she goes to the park.
Okay, so,
Nobody's
Your
calling.
Honor asked a question, well,
Oh,
we,
I did.
we've had this a number of,
On each day, and I
Oh, yeah,
said,
yeah.
Judge, the
Oh, right.
exclusionary rule issue, I don't know if she intends to call her, but she's on her witness list.
Okay.
So, just note for the record.
Are you
she's in the courtroom
gonna
again.
call that her as a witness?
well,
Do you know yet, or?
I don't know, and if I do, it's gonna be really limited in what I ask her.
Well, yeah, but I can't hear what's going on in here if I'm a witness.
If you're gonna call her as a witness, why don't we have her grab a
Okay.
seat in the interim, and she'll come right back in after this witness, then that's fine. Whatever, if you're gonna call her. Okay, let's proceed then,
I thought she did.
maybe, I don't know. I think this individual was here before, but now we're getting into material that someone could argue that the
Downs.
witness in the audience could be influenced by, because we're getting into the mechanics of day-to-day care and all. Okay, let's proceed.
Alright, we're good with that Wednesday, right? Right. Wednesdays you pick her up,
Yes?
okay. And you go home on Wednesday, okay, so what do we do on Wednesdays?
Lately, I pick her up from school and bring her to you. Or bring her to Mario to bring to you.
Does she go home first?
Pardon?
Did she go home first?
Yes?
Do you take her home?
I take her home so she can go to the bathroom, and if she gets, sometimes she'll want a snack, and then I bring her to Mario.
And when you bring her, you bring her to him where?
At the campus of CSN on College.
So you meet him at CSN on College?
I'm always wrong. Always.
How far away is that from Starbucks on College and Horizon?
Half a mile?
And Wednesdays, would you say, do you bring her tomorrow, every Wednesday?
Yes?
Are there some days that you don't bring her tomorrow and you actually bring her to
Sometimes,
directly?
if he's busy at work and he can't get away, I bring him to you at your mom's.
when that happens, what's the protocol?
I wait until I either see your mom or yourself. I get her out of the car and she walks up to you or your mother.
Okay, how often would you say she walks up to me?
Sometimes you're not out there, it's just your mom or Malachi.
Okay. And how often is it my mom, employer?
I don't know. I don't recall how many days I've done it. I don't keep track of that.
Okay. And how does that, Aslan, can you do that?
Pardon?
How's Aslan's, I guess, mood?
Fine.
Can you, is she happy? Is she excited? Is she sad? Is she content? Is she?
She's fine. She's the same Aslan. She's a happy-go-lucky kid.
So on Wednesdays, when you bring her, whether you're meeting Mario or wherever, she's the same as she is on Tuesdays, same demeanor, same, every day, nothing changes. Alright, no, so Wednesday she's with me. What's the time?
4 to 8.
Okay. Are you involved with her at all after that?
Pardon?
Are you involved with her after that, after the 8 o'clock?
When she comes home, she'll come in and say, in my room and say hi.
Okay.
Or sit and watch TV with me for a bit before it's time for her to go to bed.
Like Thursday mornings?
Same as Wednesday.
And who takes her to school?
Carrie?
Okay. And then you pick her up on Thursdays as well?
Yes.
And what's the routine then?
Same as Wednesday.
Okay. On Friday mornings, who takes her to school?
No, Carrie does.
Okay, Carrie does. And do you pick her up?
Yes.
And what's your routine on Friday?
We go home. Unless it's nice enough, we go to the park.
And how long would you say that you have her on Fridays?
Couple hours.
Till about, what time is she?
To about 5:30.
Okay. And on Friday evenings? What's your routine?
Mario has her.
Okay. And you don't, after that, you don't have any involvement with her?
If I'm at home, I do, but if not, if I'm not home, or if they go out, I don't.
Okay. And how often would you say, do you ever watch her on the weekends at all?
On occasion.
Okay. How often would you say on the weekends you're watching her?
Weekends are usually their time to do all their family stuff with Jeremy and Aslan.
Okay, so when you say once a month, once every 3 months,
Once a month, maybe.
okay. And do you watch her just like one day on the weekend, or the whole weekend, or?
Just a few hours if it's needed.
I should have. That's a great idea.
And do you participate with Aslan in her schedule or routine on the weekends at all? Are you part of that?
If If she has Miracle League or ballet, yes, I do go to that, or soccer.
Okay, and what's the routine when any of those are in play?
What do you mean routine?
So, if she has Miracle League, let's start with that. She has Miracle League, what's the routine with that? And I know it's different times, but what's the routine when she has, you said Miracle League, soccer, or ballet, right? So when does she have Miracle League? Let's start.
On Saturday,
Okay, every Saturday?
for 8 weeks.
And what 8 weeks are those?
I'm not sure of the exact schedule.
Firemen don't like me because of yesterday's joke.
So every Saturday for 8 weeks. Does she go every, does she go every week?
Pardon?
Does she go every week?
Yes.
And when is that 8 week period?
Ask and answer, Judge.
Is she 8 weeks in January, February, March, April, May, fall, winter? I'm trying to get the time frame. It's just random 8 weeks, like,
I'm not sure of the dates.
I don't need specific dates, what,
He wants to find out what
season,
time of
what
the year.
season, or what,
Time of
yeah,
year.
approximately.
I think spring and fall,
Okay, so she does Miracle League in spring and fall.
yes.
And then you said she does soccer.
She did. I don't think she's gonna do it again.
When did she do soccer?
In winter, September, maybe the fall. It was after Miracle League.
Yes, it was after Miracle League in the fall, so it was winter.
It might have been in the fall, October. I'm not sure.
Okay, and what? What days were those on?
Saturday,
Saturday games too? And how long did that go on for?
that I don't know. I don't know if it was 4 weeks, 6 weeks,
Okay. Did you go to any of those games?
yes.
And what was the routine when you went?
She went on the field with the coach and the other children and played.
And was there a routine before and after?
No, just getting her ready and getting her there.
Okay. Then you said she has ballet. When does she have ballet?
That I'm not sure of the time frame.
Is it on the weekend?
Yes,
Is it on Saturday or Sunday?
Saturdays.
Okay. And so, is it cold, hot? Can you,
I don't remember.
Just a standing objection to
Understand.
relevance as to the vast majority of this.
Understand.
I think this is very relevant.
Well, then,
Do I need to establish the relevance first and then?
well, what else is it you, wish to know from her?
I'm
She may not be any better at estimating times a year for certain things than she told you. Is there something else you, well, go ahead, whatever else you want to know, go ahead.
That's it, I'm just asking about
Okay.
ballet.
Okay.
So, approximately, I don't need exact times this week, just establish Saturday, just about
I would,
approximately,
I would say in the fall.
and do you know approximately the length of time that is?
It's about an hour.
And does she go every Saturday?
Yes. I don't know how many weeks it lasts.
So in the fall, she does ballet and Miracle League on Saturdays?
She doesn't, they don't overlap.
All right, does she, to your knowledge, or with you, does she do, any activities, with that Down
No, I think there's one more yet to come out that's not out yet.
syndrome organization? Down syndrome?
I don't know. Not to my knowledge.
Okay, with you. With you, is she involved with, any extracurriculars?
No,
Okay. Is she involved with any of her peers, her peer groups?
Is the, yeah, it might help if you help the court.
Okay.
Is the theme that she's not knowledgeable enough and/or not diligent enough and/or that too much is delegated from Mario to her, or not any of those three, some of those three?
None of those. She wants to know exactly what they're doing with her kid. She just wants information. It has nothing to do with this court case at all. She's wasting everybody's time.
Or
All of
something
them.
and-
All of the above.
Okay. Okay. All right.
This is exactly what it is. That's what I meant to say.
I just had, with you, I don't expect you to, I'm not asking you to answer for anyone else, just you. With you, you said she didn't have any involvement with any of her peer groups.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I
what
didn't
did you say?
answer
What
that.
involvement does she have then with her peer groups?
After, when I have her, she's with me. There's times that she does have friends that she plays with.
Okay, and who are these friends?
Her stepbrother?
Is your stepbrother a member of the Down syndrome organization?
No.
Okay. When, I'm asking if she has any involvement with, special needs organizations?
Not while she was with me.
Okay. When she's with you, does she do any self-advocacy work?
No.
Okay. Are you aware of any self-advocacy work that she does?
No.
Are you aware of any involvement that she has with any of the special needs organizations?
No.
Currently, what are her, developmental goals that she's working on?
I would just say objection, best evidence, I don't believe that we've established, and I would also say lack of foundation, I don't believe we've established that grandma, while she's doing a tremendous job, is the person best suited to answer these questions, but Judge.
Yeah, let's establish, you can add some background to establish that she has enough involvement or knowledge to answer these questions. Maybe she does, I'm not getting the sense. But
She
it
just
could be.
said that she had picked her up
She
every
picked
week.
her up, but
every day and
that
then
doesn't
had her for about 3
necessarily
to 4 hours.
establish specialized, well, never mind, okay.
Okay, so she
Did,
picked her up,
did
has
you,
her for 3 to 4
did
hours.
she answer the last question anyway, I think so, I guess we can move on.
Give her for 3 to 4 hours till the evening, and then take her to school every day.
Okay,
That's a significant amount of time. Okay, so,
Just that I would object in that it assumes facts not evidence. Her testimony was not that she takes the child to school every day. It was that
not
she
every
takes-
day, but
It was
Yeah.
essentially Tuesdays.
Tuesday.
okay,
And
you take
occasionally
the
on-
Tuesdays, and then she picked up every day, but Monday is sometimes. That was what was established, right? Okay. And the days that she has her, it was established that she had her for 3 to 4 hours. That's going to 6 to 7 in the evening. That's significant time, okay, so, okay, right? And you live with Aslan at her house?
Yes.
So we established that she lives in the house And you're not, okay, and we establish that that's the time frame. Establish that you're not aware of any involvement with special needs organizations, advocacy, right?
No.
Okay. So, in all of this, I didn't hear when she does homework. When does she do homework?
She usually doesn't have homework. But there's times that her and I will sit and I have some forms that, for her to practice her writing and numbers.
So,
But we do puzzles together also.
so she doesn't have homework?
No,
She has no homework,
no.
and you don't work with her on anything?
I do on sometimes. We all do. I just said that.
Well, you're saying she doesn't have homework, then you work with her on stuff.
She does not have homework from school.
Okay, no homework from school. They give her no homework at all.
No.
Asked and answered.
Just what she's aware of.
Okay, and the homework, or the work that you work with her on, where do you get that from?
It's printed out from a friend of ours that used to be her aide.
So, this aid to what? Aid, what do you mean aid?
At school,
So her school aid
from 2 years ago.
gives you, what did she give you?
Printed out letters, alphabet, numbers for her to learn how to write, trace over, and then write on her own.
Okay, how often would you say she has these, worksheets, is that what they are?
Not every day. She goes to school to learn. She needs a break when she comes home from school.
Okay, so, I'm trying to, okay, you say you work with her, she doesn't have homework, but you do get worksheets
On occasion, we do.
on occasion. Okay, so how often would you say
Or
that
we
occasion
color.
is? Once a week?
Once a
Twice
week.
Alright, so once a week she works on writing. Does she work on anything else?
Color. She does puzzles.
So she works on writing, coloring, and puzzles. Anything else?
Not that I can think.
Okay.
Now, you appreciate the fact this person is not the primary caregiver. They have she has a limited function and exposure. So I just want to make sure I understand. Again, is your theme, she's not knowledgeable enough, she's not diligent enough, dad delegates too much to her, or what's the, I guess what I'm getting at is I don't want there to be a disconnect. Just because, let's just assume you should have more time, does that mean by definition that someone else is doing poorly because your time should be expanded? I don't see the logic.
Sorry, Judge, you are way off. She didn't do any of this for any court answers. It has nothing to do with court. It was all a waste of time.
Go. Nexus, and this is a common problem when people are fighting for custody or more time, instead of emphasizing the positives of what they bring to the table, they think it's somehow necessary to diminish what someone else is doing, and most attorneys in a case like this would not take that theme. But, so I just wanna understand this in a way that's most productive to you. It's because I'm asking, because it could be I'm missing what the purpose of this is.
Well,
What has
it's
she,
I can't, be
just answer the
honest with
best
you,
you can.
kinda jumped the gun, like,
Okay,
to be honest.
you have more with it?
And
Okay.
I,
If you have more for her that will make it clear to the court, that's fine. I thought that this was
yeah, let
right.
me just ask this.
If you feel you have more that'll make it, the court's inquiries clear. These, and a common
I feel
thing,
like I could
a
add to
common thing
that,
I
but
wanna,
I haven't.
and I wanna make it clear here. And proper persons, and I understand tend to get frustrated because they say, wait a minute, the court's interfering, they're not letting me say whatever I want or question witnesses the way I want, therefore they're interfering, they're not being fair, etc., when it's quite the contrary. This isn't an exercise in, let's say whatever we want. The court is doing a service to people if it focuses them and say, here's what I need to hear, you know, let's say to rule in the favor of the court, here's what I need. Translation, what you or the other side even at times may think is important for the trier of fact, may be matters that I'm not really permitted to do a deep dive on, and it could be that the matters I am required to examine, sometimes those get lost or are not given full attention because we spend a lot of time with somewhat tangential matters. So if you're not able to tell the court now what the purpose of this testimony is, and again, attorneys welcome this inquiry. They are pleased when a court says, hey, I'm not sure I'm 100% clear. That's viewed as an opportunity, not why is this guy interfering? It's an opportunity. So if you explain something to me, I may say, hey, she's right. I maybe I missed that in the testimony. I didn't see it. So is it something you want to make an offer of
honestly,
proof now is the purpose of this?
What
Or
she's
will it
answered
become
is-
clear
is
once you...
sufficient.
No, I'm asking you, do you want to make it clear to me now what the purpose of this testimony is? Or would you prefer that it'll come more clear to me as you
It will be more clear
advance?
to you.
Okay, okay.
It will, I know it
Okay.
doesn't make sense now, but
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Okay, let's proceed then. I just
I
wanted
just
to...
have a very,
Okay,
and that's pretty much it. We've
okay.
established that. I just wanted, I would just maybe have a couple more questions.
Go ahead.
And I'm just trying to think of how to word them. All right. When Maria and I were together, just how to word it so I don't get yelled at.
Just, again, it's not that, I'm trying,
Okay, when
I'm
Maria and I were-
asking questions that are designed
I,
to help you, and although we don't help each other in parties in terms of helping to bolster their case, but whether someone's unrepresented or represented, it's the court's obligation to put them, because what people say to me that they think is important, I can't just humor them and say, that wouldn't be fair if I sit passively and say, and act like that's important. I have to put the focus on matters where, if you're in the right, these are matters which are true to you. So I guess maybe I should have asked the question, if you were making your closing, maybe this is a way that I'll understand it better. Maybe I phrased it a little too obliquely. Let me put it this way. If you were wrapping up your case with your closing argument and you got to your commentary.
Which is longer, Johnny Cochran's closing or this woman's potty training? I need to know.
On your closing argument as to the takeaway the court would take from this witness, maybe that's the more direct way to answer it. What would you tell the court as to how I should view this testimony? When you don't through your closing argument, you go through that you presented this, Mario presented that, and go through all the issues and all the witnesses. When you come to commentary about this witness, what would you tell me the important takeaway would be that the court must consider when rendering its decision? What would you tell me the answer to that is?
if you let me answer a couple more
Sure,
questions.
and then
but-
you,
oh,
okay, sure, then,
and then, yeah,
okay,
I
okay,
answered-
absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
I just have one more question about your schedule with Aslan currently. So on your days that you pick her up, and the day you take her, and you do what you do with her, does Mario check in with you?
He doesn't seem to need to, I don't think.
Okay. And
I'm
does Mario give you information on, does he offer any information regarding, I guess, you said you didn't, let me see, I'm just trying to go. Let's go back. So, he doesn't need to. Does he offer you, information on what, like, they're working on, what he's working on? or what?
No,
Okay.
He's-
Just- I
he
just wanna make
does
sure I
his
understand the
job.
question. Yeah, cause I
I
understand.
assume
what
she
you mean.
means as to care.
The
She-
her
she
development,
thought-
her development,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, she answered his job, I think cause she thought what he was doing at work.
I think she means, right, that
I think
Ashland's,
it's very asthma, I don't,
yeah,
don't
medical
care
and
if it's-
educational.
I understand that, just
Okay.
the witness said he's doing his job, so I think
I
she
think,
thought.
yeah, I assume it means working on the care of the
Yeah, I
child,
don't care about accent,
educational,
so.
developmental, medical, et cetera.
okay, I'll be more specific.
Okay,
So, you said Mario doesn't check in with you because he doesn't need to. But does he give you guidelines regarding her medical or developmental?
oh, absolutely.
Okay, and so, what would those guidelines be? Like,
You can't put a label on it.
so does he tell you how he wants, let's see. So does he tell you, okay, for example, her weekly developmental goals?
No,
I would say.
Okay. Does he tell you about her doctor's appointments?
sometimes.
Okay.
That's usually something that him and Carrie discuss.
Oh my gosh, is she gonna call Carrie next? Yes. Yes.
Alright, so. There's no, okay. Now I can kind of go back. When Mario and I were together, I also lived with you.
Pardon?
Did I live with you when Mario and I were together?
For a time frame?
Okay, and what was that time frame?
I moved in there in August of 2017.
So how old would Aslan have been?
A year?
Yes, at 1 year old.
you've moved into their home,
Yes.
Kimberly and Maris. How long, from August 2017 to when?
Till present?
Till they split up?
Yeah, I still live there.
Okay, so Kimberly moved out.
He's-
You're in the same house that you were in with the three of them, but now it's just the two of you. What was the month of these two separation?
I don't know the dates.
Someone just give me the date.
February
Of,
of 2021.
okay, so do we dispute that all three of them lived together from roughly August 2017 to February 2021? To the extent it's important, it may or may not be, it could be though. Do we agree, anyone have a serious dispute with that chronology?
You know, I'll,
Apparently
Yeah,
not,
that's right.
so we'll proceed. If they have to correct something, they'll do it. Okay, if they want to correct it by a few months, they'll do it later. Okay,
Aslan was about a year old when you moved in.
Judge, these people have given up. They're just letting you do whatever you want to do because you're the judge. They don't care anymore. They're just waiting for the end of this train wreck.
Your routine with Aslan at, let's say, okay, so it would be 1 year old to about 5, right? Did you have a routine with her while I was living with you?
No, not a regular routine, no.
Did you take her to school?
She didn't go to school when she was 1.
She didn't go to school?
When she was 1, she did
Okay,
not go
I
to
will
school.
break- Okay, 1 year old. When she did, so say 3 years old,
She didn't go to school,
she didn't go to school when she was 3 years old.
no,
Did she go to school when she was 4 years old?
not to my knowledge.
Did she go to school when she was 5 years old?
let's make it easy. Before she started kinder, did she have any
She
form
went to,
of preschool or
Yeah, she went to
educational?
pre-K.
Okay, perfect, okay.
So, she started pre-K in August.
Objection, is that a question?
Well,
Is that
it's
correct?
like-
She did, well,
August
I'm not
18th.
sure the witness knows the chronology, so let's establish that. Yes,
Okay,
she-
so she started pre-K August of 2019.
I don't know.
I'm making a statement, I don't,
Do you know when month and year she started?
No.
Okay.
Okay,
She's unaware of the precise chronology, but she may be able to offer
I wasn't
answers
the
to
one that paid
questions
her.
about the pre-K,
so, okay,
she
so
just
you
doesn't
weren't,
know
you
the
weren't the
date.
one to take her.
I
So-
wasn't involved in that,
You were not involved taking her to school during my time living there.
no,
Were you involved in picking her up?
no.
So you never took her to school?
I'm gonna be all over the record 26,000 times to protect the record and the integrity of the record. At this point in time, I've made it clear, I am not able to rule, the court will rule on the custodial concerns, the timeshare and all that, but the issue, and I understand why parents want their child to progress as well with potty training and how delayed it gets with Down syndrome cases, even adults who have Down syndrome who have accidents, etc. I cannot rule on this issue just based on what the parties are telling me. The one individual who testified the other day, first off, she said, I'm not an expert, so we understood that, so we just took her testimony, which mainly focused on her involvement with the family when Ashlyn was 3 for a brief period, and then maybe more recently for a short period. So if someone is asking this court to make a finding that this child should or should not be properly potty trained, that would be an asinine abuse of discretion and a shocking act of ignorance and arrogance on the part of the court. How can the court possibly make that determination based on what the parties are telling me? And the fact I can't make this determination is because and I haven't heard his approach on it, so that may help a lot. It has to be based on information from the specialists, medically, education-wise, and you guys need to follow those directions. And the fact that this is in dispute means neither of them have, by definition, have done a great job of reaching out to the other party and saying, here's what's coming up, please meet me so we're all on the same page
I
when we
disagree.
meet with the
And I can establish that.
Okay, so you're gonna establish that during time that he had custody and he was making all these appointments,
Not
how can you
during-
establish you were making the appointments?
During his time.
Okay.
I can
Okay,
establish
let
that
me,
during my
let
time.
me make it simpler since I'm still failing to communicate. Tell me how I can make a finding on this issue just based on what you both tell me. I can probably make general findings as to whether the primary parent seems to be reasonably diligent and on top of things, but this is a very much more narrowed, laser-focused issue that's of a concern to you and a concern to him as well, and quite understandably. How can I make this determination when the way to make this determination is when both parties receive the same information from the same specialist, we get that in writing or via testimony, and one of the parties is obstinate, refuses to follow those directions. Not the directions you or him tell each other, but the directives from the specialist. So if someone thinks I can make a ruling on this, at this stage, that I've heard anything at all so far which would enable me to make a ruling on this, that would be false. So we either need to establish some ground rules at this time. Either number one, I cannot make a ruling on this and we can just move on and my rulings will be on a more general nature. Or that someone is gonna present something beyond, he told me or I told him, dynamics between the two of you. If someone has to establish that a therapist, educator, medical provider, somebody saying, I told her this or I told him that, and they won't follow these potty training directions, and I put that in writing and I came to testify. I am not permitted to weigh in on this issue unless I have something to that caliber, so tell me what I'm gonna have, on this.
Okay, so honestly, in November,
Okay.
you said something slightly different.
That's
So
fine,
you
this is
needed
what I'm saying,
somebody-
this is what I'm saying now. Okay,
So it
okay,
keeps
let's
moving-
not get,
both
okay,
keep
no, okay,
moving.
let me
So
make
I
it,
brought
let
you
me
what
be
you
a little
asked
more
for, and then
helpful,
now
let me
it's
be a
both
little
just
more
moved
helpful,
again.
let me be a little more helpful on
It's
this
not
then.
helpful though,
Okay, let me try and be.
because you keep changing.
No, because this individual, I did invite this individual, but the first thing she says is, yes, I'm not an expert, yes, most of
That's
my
not the first thing
exposure
she said.
was at age 3. So, You're
From
gonna
3 to
rely on,
5.
you're gonna rely on that witness on this issue?
So if I could say, she never said that she was an expert. Mr.
Right.
Friedman said that. She was actually really flustered and kind of like just played into it. She works with
She said she was not an expert 50 times, easily.
highly disabled children
Okay.
doing their IEPs. That's all she does. She works with all levels
Okay.
of disabled children. She is specialized. She is an expert. Her saying that, she honestly she was caught off guard. But
Fine, but she didn't
but she
say,
is an
I need
expert. She
someone
works
to
with-
say,
That's all she works with.
I
is
need someone to
disability.
say, at this point, at age 7, I'm working diligently and directly with this child in a formal capacity, and I'm issuing and I've met with both parents, and I'm issuing a report that one of them is negligent in this.
And so the time period that we had, I could not get that. And I'm working on actually getting her primary doctor, but her primary doctor is in a,
Do you have a report, though?
I don't have a report, cause I have, that's her medical
Have
records
you
are
spoken to
extensive.
any provider or anyone who's saying this child should be trained by now?
Yes, her
Who?
primary doctor, Dr.
Okay.
Miller at Anthem
Okay.
Hills, that's who her primary was, from the time she was born until, the last time she saw her was in, July of 2021. And during that time frame, when she was 3 years old, said that, and I have the records, I planned that, he has the records.
Okay.
Well, no, I do, I have the records, to introduce those. And she was very diligent on the fact that she could be potty trained. And she's very, like, she's the expert I was trying to
Okay,
get.
could be, someone has to be saying this child at this point needs to be potty trained, and
And
this
that's
is
her.
clear negligence on the part of a parent. I am not trying to be difficult, this is what I am required to do. I cannot accept that testimony from that witness who says, and I understand her level of involvement, most of this centered on age 3, and there's been maybe
4
some
and
more
5,
recent
she knew
involvement.
for 2 years, that's
Okay.
she knew her from 3.
Okay,
Well, she was involved with her from 3, she knew her before. So 3, 4, and 5 years old, that's her involvement with her,
Okay.
that period of time. So, and that is the time, that's crucial.
I am
and
unable, even if I accept, the hard truth is, this is not an opinion on my part. Even if I accepted everything that's witness said as gospel, and she seemed to be sincere and diligent about matters, that's not the point. It's folly to think I can make a ruling based on that this child at age 7, in the current configuration of things, should be trained and that someone's negligent. And the problem with that doesn't lie upon the court. The problem lies on the lack of accountability that the two of you, after all these years, can say, let's meet together these specialists.
It's not
And
the 2 of us, it's
okay.
1, and it's him.
okay, it's gonna have to be. Do you have information?
I was involved with her, she was,
Okay,
that's what I,
do
if I could
you
get to
do
my
you have
stuff, I could
do you have a
establish that.
plethora of information or reports to him that you're saying, let's do this, let's meet with this specialist, let's get involved, let's follow these directions, and him blowing it off, and I'm gonna ask him the same thing, if he
Yes.
has that about you.
Yes, and
Okay.
you asked that back in November, and I said yes, and I
Okay.
have, that's what I have, right here.
Okay,
I
and
have the
I'm
records.
happy, and I probably will be able to make a ruling
And I
as
have
to,
extensive records.
okay, and I'm probably able to make a ruling as to which of you are more diligent or conscientious about that. But we're talking about an incredibly narrow issue where someone's not talking, where some specialist who's dealing directly, not some outsider who's offering an opinion,
the-
even if they've
I
trained
had to
someone
get
who deals
somebody,
directly.
2 months is
Okay,
not enough time to
okay.
get, her specialist, Dr. Miller, I've tried to reach out
Okay.
to her, it's hard because she's in a fellowship, she's in her last
Okay,
few months
this
of a
isn't
fellowship.
something I'm inventing to make things difficult, quite the contrary, I wanna make things as simple as possible. But
I
I think
understand
it's
it's
clear
simple.
error if I indicate that we can do anything except, and it may not, it could be perhaps an educator, it probably needs to be someone more therapeutic, medical wise, but it could be, or even mental health, developmental, it's cast a broad net. But, and maybe, who knows, I'm gonna ask them, because maybe if they think that there's a way to get at this issue, and they're agreeing with you that it can be reached in a more general sense. My experience, which is very repetitive in this, it's error if you base these type of rulings primarily based on what parties think are more stale information. There has to be some, in fact, even if you had someone an expert who was diligently dealing with this, and their last report was 8 months ago or 3 months ago, there has to be someone right now or as close in as possible, who says, I have been dealing with this child formally, not because I'm a family friend, but formally in either the education,
Yeah,
developmental,
and there
psychiatric.
was,
Okay.
when I was involved with her, and then I wasn't involved with her, he wouldn't let me be involved with her, and
Okay.
everything went sideways, and
Okay.
that's my point.
Okay, maybe, who knows, maybe they have reports on this that might be helpful to you, but there needs to be, okay. This side disagrees with the court and says I am able to make rulings on this.
I think if can get to the records
Okay.
and my testimony.
What is your side's perspective of this? Specifically, does he have anything, well, this probably should have been, he may not have known that this was gonna be a big issue, but had he known, he probably
I
should have
made it an issue for
generated
3 years.
a recent report on this issue. Where are we at with this issue? Is there anyone who's opined on this to him that,
I think that we have, and when we resume my client's testimony, I think he's gonna be able to provide the court the context of what he's done as the primary caregiver for the child. I think the
she
medical.
wants me to make a ruling,
Well,
this child should be potty trained.
Your Honor, I would agree with you that absent very clear understanding between both parties in this court as to what a protocol was, and then thereafter, findings by this court that that protocol recommended by the child's care provider, occupational therapist, or medical specialist was not followed by one or both of the parents, I don't know how Your Honor could find, I think what you're saying is the type of medical neglect that the defendant has been professing to this court is occurring. As an offer of proof, I will simply say that we have a comprehensive set, because Your Honor asked for it, though I don't believe that the remand from the Supreme Court required it or even wanted it.
Is this
But
issue
we-
anywhere in those
we did-
documents?
we have the entire set of all of her medical records, and what they show is her consistently having her goals being advancing progress on
Not
all of her.
toileting. And I can go through those dates very
Okay.
specifically.
Wow. Judge,
What's the, and of course, the records will speak for themselves, but, and you, each of you have viewed them. What does it indicate as far as, because I can certainly understand why she, and I assume he shares the view, wants this problem resolved as soon as humanly possible.
yeah.
Because it's been going on for 7 years and
Well,
it's.
Judge, the unfortunate reality for
Yeah,
both
I
of these
know.
parents and for grandma is that this child was born with a profound genetic disorder.
No,
That
you
is-
know what, you can't label her.
I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you, Ms. Hurd, and I
Well,
believe.
we are
Mislabel
dealing,
my daughter.
fair enough, but we are
I'm
dealing
not
with certain,
mislabeling her. I
we are
believe she's
dealing with
been
certain
formally
challenges.
diagnosed
But
with
that's,
trisomy
that doesn't
13.
mean that she gets to be in diapers till 8 years old and have a rep.
Okay.
Okay.
You're-
Judge,
you're-
do you
But
want
there,
me to
and
labeling her.
that's the last thing we want,
Judge.
is for this, everyone agrees we want this dealt with, but the reason I need an,
But I'm not
the
gonna have
reason I
somebody
need, okay,
dismiss her
the reason I
diagnosis.
need a current caregiver issue that type of report is because there are Down syndrome adults who are still having
And there's
accidents and have
she has
control.
she's a friend, a peer, that's 1 year younger than her, that was fully potty trained by 5 years old.
I'm not,
I'm sure there's
I'm
Down
not
syndrome
permitted,
people that are
I am,
experts in black
that's
cat,
why
but-
we have a
And the
discussion.
child is
I am
just-
I
not,
don't
per-
wanna hear about the
okay,
adults then
hold on,
either.
I am not permitted to analogize her to another child unless we have an expert saying all Down
You are to an
syndrome,
adult.
all Down syndrome children, as you well know, can be dramatically different in terms
Right,
of
they
development
are.
challenge, so you can't analogize it to someone else. What, they may have something in the records that are
They don't.
helpful to you, I don't know.
My
I've gone through
understanding,
thoroughly.
Okay,
would you like me to finish?
Go ahead.
Judge? Okay, and may I do so without interruption to Ms. Hurd, please?
just proceed.
What I would say is, if you're asking me what I believe is in the records, it's a comprehensive set, the medical records from the time of the trial to the date that we got them last, which was maybe 6 weeks ago. To my knowledge, there has been no specialist specifically tasked with or who did undertake the preparation of a report on the specific issue of potty training and a protocol therefrom, right? This is my recommendation, that's right, this is what should happen, and then measuring metered progress, saying what is and isn't happening. I believe when we were here last, what Your Honor suggested on this issue was that the parties would meet and confer and have a clear set of guidelines, and then Your Honor could, in theory, at some future date, if it continued to be an issue, make
Right,
the
and
findings.
since that date, did anyone send an email to the other side saying, the judge said, let's make this appointment?
She hasn't had an appointment since we were here 2 weeks ago, Judge, or.
He hasn't responded to me, he's like,
In the last 2 weeks, have you asked him to set an appointment on this issue?
I've asked him for her appointments, The only,
Because there is maybe a very, that's why I suggest even, there may be a very simple solution to a
he didn't even
complex.
talk to me for
There may be a very
personally.
simple selection to a complex question, which would be, and I indicated last time, if you can make a joint appointment with these specialists, and
He
if
has to
if they are
respond to me.
willing to weigh in precisely on this issue.
He doesn't respond to
Judge,
me.
he
I can make them respond to you if what you're
You
saying is
told him
true.
last time.
Okay, we're going to end on the judge telling them to make a joint. Make a joint. And everything will get better. Now we know. Came right from the judge's mouth. Alright, guys. I'm going to start up OJ and see if maybe we can get some testimony today. I think. Maybe we're going to get some testimony today. I don't know who I want him to call first. Cato, Mark, I don't even know. I just want to get to it. Thank you so much for coming out today. I love you guys so much. I will see you guys very, very soon. Judge Fleischer is not streaming today. I'm so sorry, but it's a tiny bit cold in Texas, so everything is shut down. Bye, guys. Be good, okay? See ya.
Got these life echoes, digital dreams. Through the screen, her blue eyes gleam. Wicked humor, sharp as a knife. Her stream sparks electric light. Late night when the world sleeps, she's the friend that always keeps. Giggles roll like thunder loud. She stands out in any crowd. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor, dark and twisted, sharp. In a way, there's no alarm. Streaming tales late into the night. Her laughter feels just right. Even when my world turns gray, with a giggle, she lights the way. Her eyes near a sky so blue. In her jokes, there's a truth so true. With each stream, she brings the light. Turns dark days into bright. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor, dark and twisted, sharp. In a way, there's no alarm. Streaming tales late into the night. Her laughter feels just right. Even when my world turns gray, with a giggle, she lights the way. Kathy's laugh